All right, well, good morning, everyone. John Kegel with Selltis, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about the idea of setting goals and take it to the next level. A couple of weeks ago, we started talking about looking at goals in Selltis, and we had discussed that we could look at trend lines or gauge charts against goals so that we could see exceptions, we could see gaps in our efforts or in our input, gaps in our forecasts, and really do some exception reporting too when we are able to really just see the data graphically between what we have and what the goal is. And again, we're writing goals for a variety of different things. It's really up to your imagination. The goal record itself is connected to divisions, groups, users, territories, products, vendors or suppliers, but can be connected to anything else that you customize or anything that you have in Selltis. It's really just a quick customization of making a link. It's no different than adding a link between, say, a company and a contact, or a project and a company, or what have you. So I wanted you to think about that in terms of any of these things that you're trying to report on as you report to product managers or division managers, or to your suppliers if you're a rep or a distributor. So today I wanted to show you an example in my demo database. And as always, I cringe just a little bit because I don't have a ton of data in my database. And then secondly, I wanted to show you some screenshots from a real customer who's taken the goal form itself to the next level. And I want to show you an idea, or give you some ideas on really creating a territory plan. And that territory plan really has come out to be really a balanced scorecard type of dashboard that an individual user can use, and that their managers can use to help coach them and provide the resources that you as leaders all want to do for the various people that work with you. So here we're showing the goal record itself just as a bit of a review. Again, we're able to set goals based on any of these types of connections, but they are user, territory, division, group, branch or location, etc. And then here we're starting to show some representations of what that looks like in Selltis, the various kinds of graphs. We also, a couple of weeks ago, talked a little bit about what it would be, how do I actually set a goal before I even start to put this into Selltis. And I sent this little chart to several of you who had expressed interest. Let's take a look at that just for another second here. So again, we're on the same footing before we dive into my demo database here. We'll switch over to Excel here if I can find it. What we had described was trying to get away from this idea of just adding 5% or 10% to last year's goal, but instead looking to Selltis to show us data against a more defined goal, a more proactive scientific methodology here. And so one way of thinking about setting a goal was to say, how much input do I need to have in order to reach my desired output? And this little calculator here that Brian and I kind of worked on, Brian Gardner and I worked on, kind of shows that a little bit. It's saying, you know, I have a yearly goal of, say, $25 million revenue for my business. And what I'm more interested in then is how much do I get to keep this gross profit over here. Do I have a margin of this, and if I have an average quote value of that, and if I have a base business of this, how many new quotes do I need to have each month? Or how many opportunities do I need to generate in order for customers to start writing purchase orders to me? And if I know the number of opportunities, just to scroll down a little bit here, make this a little bit bigger. if I know the number of opportunities and the average value of those opportunities needed in order to start generating these quotes, well, what do I need to do marketing-wise? How many sales touches, sales visits, email blasts, whatever, trade show leads, all of those sales touches, how many do I need to have in order to generate X number of opportunities? So we're just demonstrating here perhaps a scientific method, if you will, I use that word loosely, of trying to make a goal for an individual user, again, for a territory, for your company as a whole, that might be a little bit more than, let's just do more than last year. So hopefully that's helpful to you. If anybody wants this little spreadsheet, you obviously can make it yourself, but the idea would be to kind of think about, of the different parts of Selltis I use, what is the input necessary above and beyond, say, my yearly base business to reach my total revenue or gross profit objectives. Okay. So today, let's take a look at two scenarios, one in my demo database and one I need to show you screenshots of because I don't want to actually go into the customer database where we've built this substantial territory plan. The first one, I wanted to set a scenario where we said we have goals for input for sales visits for a particular territory, which are driving a certain number of opportunities in Selltis. And in turn, as we work those strategic opportunities, presenting our unique value proposition to our customers and prospects, how many quotes are we getting out of that? And is that number sufficient, we think, to meet our goals? And then what is the potential revenue, which is contained in the subtotal or total of the quote lines of those quotes? Now, some of you as customers of Selltis or as prospects of Selltis, if you're with me this morning, may be thinking, well, I don't use opportunities or I don't use quotes. The idea would be that you could take any of these parts to get an idea of what input is necessary to drive your eventual sales goals, whether that be top line revenue or whether that be margin. So pick and choose here. I'm trying to give you kind of a high level and kind of try to give you a high level and be able to show you some different parts that might make sense for your business. So talking about this initial scenario here, we again are speaking about a territory. So let's go into the demo database over here, and we're looking at a dashboard called Input Trends by Territory. This particular dashboard has a master view of a particular territory. And again, we have set some goals about that territory that will allow us to see data versus, let me put my GoToMeeting toolbar out of the way, data versus a particular goal. So let's just expand this one view here, which is about opportunity input for the Midwest territory. And if I were to expand that out a little bit, again, you see that I have some demo data here. And we can see a trend line, in this case, for the last 12 months using our date range indicator up here that may be helpful for us. I can collapse this down just a little bit here, perhaps looking from 5/1 of 13 to today. Let me collapse that down just a little bit. But you get the idea that we're looking at data versus our goal. In this case, our goal of $4,000 per month. So a little explanation. The chart view that we're looking at is obviously sorted by months of the year, and we're seeing that input by month. And the goal is for $4,000 a month. I want to show you then how we set up the goal in Selltis and see how that showed into the actual dashboard. So in Selltis, you have another category besides territories, besides activities, besides opportunities, companies, contacts, called goals. And you'll have a default desktop for goals all that looks like this. And you can see I've put in a number of goals here, 6 or 8 of them, which will derive a goal line into various views for the related category. So for example, I have a goal record here for the company as a whole. The goal record for the company as a whole, I know it's for the company as a whole because none of these are, there's no connection of value for any of these particular related categories for a particular user, for a territory. So the company-wide goal then is not connected to any of our subcategories, if you will, of the company. The goal record itself is for an annual situation. So you can see, for example, that I'm expecting to, for the company as a whole, to create 1,200 sales visits annually. And of course, that would be 100 sales visits per month. If I were to look at a goal record for the Midwest territory, it's going to look a little bit different. You can see I've named it Midwest territory, and I've connected it to this particular territory record, the Midwest. Looking at the values that I put in the bottom, and by the way, this is customizable. You may have other things that you may want to write goals on. But you can see that I've entered these on an annualized basis. I'm expecting to enter, for the Midwest territory, 2 opportunities per month and $2,000. Again, I just have demo data in, so the numbers are low. The same for quotes. I'm looking for 2 new quotes a month and for $2,000 in new quoted revenue a month. And look down here then, here's my sales visits, my activity goal on an annualized basis for the Midwest territory is 36. Obviously divided by 12, that's 3. And I've chosen to make a goal record based on sales visits for the Midwest territory, not activities as a whole. So coming back to the input trends by territory desktop, if I were to, let me just say the last 12 months here to get some data into most of the views, you can see then my activity trend for the Midwest territory has a few records here. And remember that I set an annualized goal of 36. Obviously divided by 12 shows my goal line of 3. I can blow this up here a little bit, and so that's a little easier to see. But you can imagine then that I'm able to easily see with real numbers how I'm doing against my goal. This, of course, allows the team to adjust goals too as they go along and say, you know what, let's shift our resources. We're not winning revenue in this particular product line. Let's shift our shift our resources to work on that more, or to work on some other things that might be more productive. So that's the whole reason, of course, for writing these types of desktops and these types of goals. All right, let me come back over and unmute you guys again just for a second to see if I've made this clear enough for you to give you some ideas, or if you have some questions and comments.
Can we do the same thing with converted quotes, quotes that have been converted to orders?
Yeah, absolutely. You saw on the, so let me back up. Rich had the question, can we set goals for, say, order histories in Selltis, or 1 quotes or 1 quote lines, depending on how you're breaking that out. And if I come back to this goals all and start to create a new goal, you can see that there's not a connection to the order history per se connection. Excuse me, I should show it down here. There is not a currency or account field for order histories on the bottom here. But we have put that into play for several customers, and it's really just a quick edit for our professional services team to add the ability to enter goals for them. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so, though. It looks like orders, goal, and count and is already in that particular one you got.
I don't believe it's default, so thanks for noticing that. I don't remember what I have in my demo database. Thanks. But yeah, it's right here. Good question. Yeah. Other questions or comments?
Yeah, how do I get that input trends desktop on my Selltis?
Tom, I can cut and paste that over to you, and then what will happen is there may be some fields that are unique to either your database or the demo database, and so we would just tweak it. Yeah, we would just tweak it a little bit, but everyone should know that any desktop in one given database that Deborah or I or Brian or Rick or anybody is demonstrating can be cut and pasted, literally cut and pasted into your database. Then we try to open it, and if there's a field that's unique to your database or the one it's copied from.
Yeah, we may have changed some labels or something.
Absolutely. Yeah, you get the idea. So
yeah, I'd like it when, or I'll send a note to Deborah later. So.
Yeah, we'll get those in, and then we can start to set some goals here. So, all right, that's a great question too. Any others? Okay. I want to spend 5 minutes taking a look at another scenario here in a customer's database. I'm not going to go into that database for privacy reasons, but I think I can show you some screenshots here about a territory plan that we've put together, which takes this discussion that we've been having today and a couple of weeks ago to the next level. So let's take a look at that a little bit, and hopefully my screenshot is big enough for you here to see what's going on. In this for this particular customer, they're a distributor / representative. And what we've done is put together, again, this territory plan dashboard so they can see what they've targeted to do at a glance. So on the desktop as a whole, and I'll break it down into individual parts in just a second, so bear with me, you will see that they have their goals as records right in front of them. They have a list of the target companies that they've written goals for. So remember, goals can be really just about anything in the database, including, say, a list of target companies. They've written goals for their suppliers. Again, they're a rep and / distributor. And they've also written some goals for various product lines that they're actually selling to target companies. So across the bottom here is a variety of results views in tabs that show the results of working those goals, either by this particular user's input or by others in the company entering data against their territory. All right, so the first part of this was that view in the top left, where rather than displaying say a goal line in a view, they're actually showing their goals in a view, the goals themselves. Remember, goals is just a category in Selltis. It's just like company, contact, opportunity. So we can show them as a list. In this view, they've taken the goal record and they've actually made goal types. So this particular user has a goal type of 2 target accounts, 2 companies. He has 1 product goal. He's interested in selling this particular product, and here is his goal for the next year in his territory. And then he has 1 vendor goal. So again, demo data here, because I don't want to show a private customer's data. But you can see that a particular user can set goals of various types if you choose. And then he has 2 goals here at the top, which are not about a target company, a product that he's selling or for a particular supplier to his rep firm. And those would actually be soft goals. So he has a couple, getting back to this balanced scorecard idea, this particular user has 2 goals that are really not about inputting for eventual revenue. They're about personal development. I need to go to training class with Viking Pump, whatever the case may be. All right, so as another part of this desktop, we are showing the target companies connected to his goals. In this case, you can obviously tell who this customer is now. And so I put a little demo data in there so you can definitely see that he has a list right in front of him of his target companies. He has goal records written for these 2. Now in reality, this is going to be a list of 20 or so for each individual user. And he's specifically targeting 3 or 4 of their 15 vendors with a goal also. Now, those are at a glance what he has goals for across the top of that dashboard. At the bottom of the dashboard, we have this idea that we have a number of inputs in tab views that would allow us to see the results of our goals. So this is back to our, like our territory scenario where we showed quotes inputs, activity inputs, etc. So I'm showing you one specific example of that here, and this is a chart, again, demo data here for this particular user. But you can see then that we're looking at the plan at the top and then seeing the results as we go of the plan with the views on the bottom. So in this case, quote lines input by a particular vendor. And you can see that this person has a goal record, has a goal. I should say this person has a goal record which is displaying the goal into this view for a particular vendor. And then so it would be filtered for that vendor. Does that make sense? Let me unmute you guys again just so that I can hear questions or comments on that particular part of what we've described. I'm going to back up just through here a little bit so you can see what that desktop would look like as a whole. Again, goals at the top, target companies and vendors on here on the side, and even a product view if they were to choose. And then across the bottom, as they take a look at individual target companies or individual vendors, target companies or individual vendors, then the views in these tabs across the bottom are going to start to display the results of the input either by this user or other users in the company. So that's what I have for you today. I wanted to show you then the results of setting goals on a basic level like that territory input desktop, or in a more complex setting where we're really setting a variety of types of goals for what we want to do as an individual salesperson, customer service person who is a Selltis user against various parts of the database, a target company that we want to work with, as a rep, perhaps a particular supplier, or are we working on, in a particular division for a particular branch with a particular product line, etc. Does that make sense to you guys?
Very good.
Okay, good. Questions, comments on that? Okay.
I think we're good.
Not really, yeah.
Very good. All right. So the result of this hopefully has stimulated some thought about what you would like to track in Selltis with real data, so we can see nice, pretty charts rather than my, 2 or 3 pieces of data charts, and how that would work out for you. And I'm happy to take this to more detail. And so is Deborah on the line. So send us your thoughts, questions. Can I do this? Kind of thing, and we'll get you going and get you going to the next level. A couple weeks out, I'm determined to dive into the details of creating charts And so we'll take a look at that and help you guys along. In the meantime, if you go to www.selltis.com/training, you will, of course, see documents and now start to see these presentations of these various Selltis presentations, Coffee with Selltis and other things on the training website. So I look forward to you guys going there and getting the information you need and being able to tweak that out. All right, let's get to work. Have a great weekend.
Great. Thanks, John. Have a good weekend. All right.
My pleasure. You guys take care.
Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.